Billy, how much longer are you going to be in that bloody bathroom?
Well, I'm going to be a bit longer, Dad. It's Baggy Hi-Fi time.
I don't know. Kids these days. Greetings, cats and kittens. Welcome once again to Baggy Hi-Fi, this YouTube channel devoted to record collecting and the vinyl community here in the UK and beyond. This video is a response to a thread which I think was begun by James Griffiths, and the theme is psychedelic songs. Now, when I watched James' excellent video and his rundown of 10 favourite psychedelic songs, I knew I had to have a go at this, because looking at my record collection, I would say possibly even up to about a quarter are either psych-tinged or garage-tinged records. So I have plenty to talk about, and it is one of my favourite genres of music. So I'm going to run down my 10. I could have easily picked 100. I've restricted these songs to the 1960s because psychedelia is an ongoing thing. I could have talked about 80s psychedelia or present day psychedelia. I decided though to just concentrate on the decade when that music first emerged. It was a time of great creativity and invention, often with quite limited means. Even the Beatles, although they had the best engineers, they were still using, I think, were they still using 4 tracks or 8 tracks? Anyway, it was amazing what they produced, and the Beatles were pioneers. So I'm going to begin. These are no particular order. I've included music from the UK and the US. The first song I've picked is by The Who from their Sellout album from 1967. The only single to be released from that album, and it is I Can See for Miles. Great record. Pete Townshend regarded it as the ultimate Who record, and he was a bit disappointed that it didn't rise higher in the charts. Thunderous drumming by Keith Moon, whiplash guitar by Pete Townshend, and the lyrics are absolutely psychedelic in my book, even though Pete Townshend did deny that the song was drug related. I'll just quote what he said. The words of the song, which aging senators have called drug orientated, are actually about a jealous man with exceptionally good eyesight. Honest. So there we are. Fantastic single in the canon of The Who's great run of singles, I Can See for Miles. Next song is by the Beatles. Sorry, I had to include them, but they, as I mentioned earlier on, they really were pioneers, and especially with George Martin helping them along the way, and they had such great invention in the studio. But the tune I've picked is sort of not really from 67. Well, I know it's not from 67, it's actually from 1966, and it is the B-side of Paperback Writer, and that song is Rain. Backwards vocals appear for the first time on this track. The story goes that John Lennon returned home after a recording session, and as he would do, he would listen back to the tapes, and accidentally, in his stoned state, played it backwards and thought, this sounds great. Don't know if that's the true story, but other engineers have said that they suggested backwards vocals to John, but I guess we'll never know. But very slowed down backing track. I think it is slowed down, and Ringo's drumming is amazing. Very kind of drawly, snarly vocals from John Lennon. So a great psych tune by the Beatles, Rain. Next one is another single. In fact, it's the first single by another amazing 60s group, The Move. I talked about Roy Wood in a recent video. Great musician, great writer, great producer. This is the first single by The Move. It's from 1966 also, and it just shows you that psychedelia needn't be about flowers and happy things. In fact, this is quite a disturbing, bad trip of a tune. Night of Fear. You hear about shadows moving in the house, shifting pictures in a bedroom. Is this the result of drugs, or is it the result of paranoia? The main riff is quoted from classical music from Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture, and there's a repeating refrain of just about to flip your mind, just about to trip your mind. Very short tune, but just shows you what you can do in the space of 2 or 3 minutes if you are the move. Now moving over to the US now, the Byrds made many a psychedelic tune. I nearly thought about including 8 Miles High, but in the end I went for 5D, Fifth Dimension, I think one of Roger McGuinn's very best songs, and it was the opening track on their album Fifth Dimension, which I only have on CD, so I'm showing you this greatest hits with suitably hippie era looking Byrds. Again, the group said that this song is not about or not influenced by drugs or the psychedelic experience, but is about science. And Roger McGuinn said that it was his attempt in a song to explain Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. And I think this song is part of the chorus, which sort of reflects the optimism of the time and the confidence of the time that they were really in the Aquarian age, that these young musicians were leading the way, and the words are, "I saw the great blunders my teachers had made, scientific delirium madness." 2 minutes 33 seconds, chiming guitars, fantastic song, the Byrds, 5D. Now, continuing in the US, I'm going to talk about now a West Coast band, not as well known as their contemporaries like Quicksilver Messenger Service or Country Joe and the Fish, or indeed the Grateful Dead, but they do have that similar sort of crystalline acid rock guitar sound, and the band were Mad River, and this is their first album from 1968. They moved from Ohio and relocated to Berkeley, California, to be part of the emerging counterculture scene. This is a reissue on Edsel Records, and the tune I've chosen is Amphetamine Gazelle. Very strange tune, from the kind of speed-driven mumbling spoken word at the beginning of the song to extremely fast playing and quite atonal, really. This is another bad trip, and the whole album has very complex tunes that flirt with atonality. It's not the kind of mellifluous tunes that you would expect really to hear from West Coast, despite having that acid rock guitar sound. So it is an amazing tune, Amphetamine Gazelle, and I'm going to play you a needle drop of that tune.
I'm too stoned to understand or to get on to everything that's going on, yeah!
Staying in the USA and moving over to Texas, how could I miss out the 13th Floor Elevators? Roky Erickson and Co. Premier Psych Band. This is the tune I've chosen is taken from their second album, Easter Everywhere. And I was just reading the other night about the cover art of Easter Everywhere. It was released in 1967 on International Artists. Is that the logo, the band logo here, the 13th Floor Elevators, was based on the shape of Buddha's eyebrows. Anyhow, the song I've chosen off this fantastic psychedelic, heavily psychedelic album is Levitation. And I'll just read you a sample of the lyrics. Heading for the ceiling, I'm up off the floor. I've broken my horizon, outdistancing my door. High above the anthills, in among the plains, swooping down to hear the sound and movement of the trains. Undulating, warbling sound, thanks to Tommy Hall's electric jug playing, amazing guitar playing by Roki, and great singing. Just one of the highlights of this marvellous album, Easter Everywhere by the 13th Floor Elevators. Now, moving back to the UK, James Griffiths did show See Emily Play by Pink Floyd, and I was going to pick Arnold Lane by Pink Floyd, you know, one of the, I think it was their first single, because those two singles just epitomise, you know, how great music in the UK was in 1967. But instead I decided to choose a song by Sid Barrett after he'd left Pink Floyd, and this is from his second solo album, Barrett. So this one does just go slightly outside of the 1960s. This is from 1970, and it's a song, Baby Lemonade. And although Sid was, of course, an acid casualty, this is the music of a genius acid casualty. It keeps going in and out of timing, but that just adds to the effect, the sort of disorientating effect of Sid Barrett's songwriting. David Gilmour plays some lovely guitar. He's trying to kind of keep up with Sid, but Baby Lemonade is a highlight of this album, Barrett, by the great long-lost Sid Barrett. Now, there's a tendency in UK psych, particularly, I think, of music to be nostalgic and to look back to childhood, and a kind of Camberwick Green sound, Baroque arrangements, and the person who was expert at those arrangements was Mark Wirtz, W-I-R-T-Z. And Mark Wirtz died sadly last month in August, and he's probably most famous for attempting to put together with Beatles engineer Geoff Emerick, his very ambitious concept album, A Teenage Opera. He did have a worldwide hit with excerpt from A Teenage Opera. You'll remember the chorus, Grocer Jack, Grocer Jack. But this is another song from the Teenage Opera, which was issued on one of the Bam Caruso compilations, Nightmares in Wonderland. And the song is Here's Our Dear Old Weatherman. Again, kind of very, very English, Camberwick Green village type of subject matter. The music is very, very complex. I don't know how he did it really. You know, taking the cue from Sgt. Pepper, I guess. But it is a wonderful, whimsical tune, which sort of typifies that Toy Town tendency in UK psych. So Mark Wirtz, He's Our Dear Old Weatherman. I really couldn't leave out in a list of 10 favourite psychedelic songs a band I've mentioned before, Kaleidoscope. Now, I know there are other bands called Kaleidoscope. There is a US Kaleidoscope, and I think there's a South American Kaleidoscope as well, but we're talking about the Kaleidoscope who came from Harrow. So this is the sound of Harrow, but a band who should have been much, much bigger. This is their first album, which is called Tangerine Dream. I always wonder whether the band Tangerine Dream pinched the name from here, but anyway, doesn't matter. But the song I've picked is Dive Into Yesterday off this first album. Could have picked many other tunes by Kaleidoscope because they were just pop psych masters. They eventually metamorphosized into the sort of more proggy band Fairfield Partner, who were also good, but not quite as great in my view as Kaleidoscope. Now, to end this list of 10, I'm going to go over to the US again, and also to much more of a garagey sound. There's definitely a lot of psych in the garage bands, which are collected on compilations like Pebbles, but this compilation is of a really obscure band called Gone, G-O-N-N. They were from Iowa, and this song is Blackout of Greetly. Again, another sort of bad trip of a song. Begins with the one of the members of the band intoning, "The universe is permeated with the odour of kerosene," whatever that is referring to. I discovered the other day that the title Blackout of Greetly is very similar to a novel written by English novelist J.B. Priestley. He wrote a wartime spy novel called Blackout in Greetly, but the band Gone from Iowa took that title and made it their own. Very excellent fuzz tone, repetitive Stones-like riff throughout, and creepy Farfisa organ. I was reading on the notes on this album about the recording process, and I think it was basically just two mics put in front of the band, and the band played it live. But it has become a psych garage classic. So that's the end of this list, Blackout of Greetly by Gone from 1966. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you want to make your own list. As I said at the beginning of this, I could have picked 100 more, and I'll be showing many more psych albums in the future. Thanks for watching, thanks for your subscriptions, thanks for your comments. Not much more to say really. I'll leave a list of these 10 songs in case you missed me saying what they were. See you next time in the next video. Bye for now.